Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How we doing? Frustrating match at home against Newcastle United, sir. Up swinging Newcastle with their new Saudi owners. They came out better side in the first half. I think United were better in the second half. Not clinical enough. We had a couple big chances at the end. Fred and Rashford had opportunities to bury the game and get all 3 points, which, I think they did put in a decent performance in the second half. But that being said, people are frustrated. I know Ronaldo was frustrated. He got pulled in the 70th minute for Rashford. He wasn't happy about it. And a big chance was had at the end of the game. That is a little bit of a trademark of Cristiano Ronaldo. He is pretty good in the air, but hey, he did not have a good game. But you know what? Dust ourselves on to the next one. We got a big game on Wednesday, sir. Spurs coming in. Conte, your boy, hair plugs and all, ready to rock. How we feeling? How we doing?
A little penalty shot there on Jadon Sancho. Horrible refereeing. Craig Dawson, horrible match. VAR, horrible match. You're complaining about VAR, complaining about everything, and we just didn't do enough. I think 60% plus of the ball, 2 shots on target. We lacked it today, and I think Newcastle came out first half coming at us. I think they sat back second half trying to hit us on the counter, similar to like what we've seen other teams do this season, and we weren't up to the task. Subbing Rashford for Ronaldo from Ten Hag, could have questioned that one because second half was turning into getting crosses into the box. That's where Ronaldo excels. Puts Rashford at 9. Rashford's been playing lights out on the left. Sancho didn't really do too much other than that penalty call. I have to think that, why are you subbing Ronaldo? You're pissing him off, and he probably puts that chance that Rashford had late in the game away. So not a great performance all around for the players. I think the manager didn't get it right necessarily. He has a lot of young bodies on the bench. I think he needs to be going to. If you look at these October fixtures, I'm kind of scratching my head. How are these young kids not getting in? It's about time to use them. We don't have anyone else. And with people getting sick, referee going against you, shouting at the TV, it's just one of those games. Best to move on, honestly. You could get frustrated with it. We should be getting Newcastle. We needed those 3 points, but now you have to get them against Tottenham.
That's right. It just ups the ante in terms of those other matches. Could the game have been managed differently? Could have led to a different outcome? Of course. I don't think the subs that came on, Rashford had an impact, not a huge impact. And at the end of the day,
Rashford did well, but
hold on a second.
But Rashford did well, but when I say sub, it's like 2 or 3. We have 5 subs.
Last game he did 5 subs, and we got a winner. And this game he liked what he was seeing, and also we have options, but he's not going to throw an Iqbal on or
we're playing Wednesday
or Garnacho on.
We're playing Wednesday.
It's the same 11. There's not enough depth in the squad. We're going to be able to rotate and be like, who else you got? You can put him McTominay. He obviously had an impact during the week in the Europa League, but
McTominay was out because of yells. I'm just saying you got to rotate. You got to use whoever you got. You can't just keep running this team into the ground.
Well, that's what he's going to do.
The kids are going to have to play.
What games? They're not going to play against Chelsea. They're not going to play against Spurs.
Elanga should play at some point.
He could come on today because Sancho didn't look great, like you said.
Exactly.
Tired.
I think 70th minute, ammonia, Iqbal should come in, give a blow to you got to start giving a blow because you're going to have to save these guys for Tottenham, Chelsea. Now we've run the team in the ground. I think we look tired in the second half because we're playing Thursday, Sunday. Now we're playing Wednesday and you're going to have to go with the same players. So I just really think not rotating, being a little stubborn with the 11 is going to come and bite us in the butt at some point. I agree. I don't know if playing kids gets us the win at ammonia, but we're going to be tired against Tottenham, and they're high flying at the moment.
And you know what? It's going to be the reliance on the same 11, basically. Who do you start up front? Do you start Ronaldo? Do you put him on the bench? Do you bring him off? Erik ten Hag, dude, he's 9 games into his tenure. He's not going to get it all right from the jump. And at the end of the day, there were positives from this game. First half wasn't as good.
I mean, it's more than 9.
Second half,
this
is
9
games.
Game.
This is the 10th game week in the league. There's 2 games missed that we didn't play in because of the Queen.
But then there's Europa League.
I'm just making a point that his tenure in the Premier League is very new. He's just got into it. We're not even halfway through the season yet, so we don't need to get ahead of ourselves and say what he did wrong or right. I hope to think that our manager will learn on the job as he's continued to do. He's already shown that. And there's an eventual point where, you're right. He's gonna have to rotate the squad, but The top four is no surety, given how competitive it is this year. And I guess he sees Europa League as a decent outlet for us to win a trophy and to get qualification into the Champions League next season, because he clearly took it very seriously. Even in Ammonia, we're chasing the game. You can't put those players on when you need a goal.
I mean, it's well said. It's just, for me, you have to look at what you got and how many games we got to play. Something's going to give. Something's going to give, right? These kids are going to have to feature. That's how McTominay, that's how Rashford got in the team anyway, was just because we needed, it was next man up. We need a body. Facundo's sitting there. I'm not saying he's ready, but to sub him in a Europa League game to give someone else a blow so that they're ready for Newcastle or have more legs for Newcastle, I think it makes sense at a certain point. So we'll see how Erik ten Hag manages it. He's the boss, not me. I'm not saying. I think you can look at this game glass half full. Came off Thursday, players sick, ref went against us.
Strong Newcastle side.
We just didn't create enough chances. We create so many chances against Ammonia. I think we actually played decent in the first half. We just didn't generate the opportunities in the final third. And obviously we could talk about Sancho, Ronaldo, and Antony, as those are the main players, and also Bruno. I think missing Eriksen today was a huge loss. Missing Rashford on the left was a huge loss. And you're starting to see that when you have Eriksen, you have Rashford there, you're looking a lot different. You're looking like a lot different of a team, and those are two key players we're missing. So just to get a draw isn't bad. It's really looking who we're going to play that makes me a little nervous. But, sir, quick PSA for the podcast. We are for fans by fans here on the America Red Devils podcast. And if you want to support us, because we don't have any commercial sponsors on the pod, we do it the direct fan support route. The best way to support us is Patreon. Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/America Red Devils. We post a behind-the-scenes episode every single month. We give away pins, stickers, scarves, shirts, you name it. It's an amazing community, and the Patreon community is the cream of the crop. So you want to support us and go the extra mile, please check it out. Also, check out our website, AmericaDevils.com. Great fan-generated blog content there. Some history content as well. We add a lot more to the website every single month. Also, check out AmericaDevils.store. This is where you can pick up your merch. Everything you buy supports the small-time operation, and we really appreciate you. Sir, tell them about iTunes reviews or anywhere you can write a review for the pod.
iTunes reviews or 5-star reviews of the America Red Devils podcast, wherever you listen. It's a great way to support the pod. Helps us get found organically by other fans like yourself, and even better, we're giving away free gear. All you have to do is write a 5-star review wherever you listen and send a screenshot to AmericaRedDevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I will personally pick, pack, and ship some free ARD gear, send it right to your door anywhere in the world. We got a great 5-star review from Hart Foundation. 5 stars, United we stand. Thanks, guys, for delivering the best Manchester United podcast. Cheers from New Hope, PA. Thank you, Hart. And appreciate all the listeners writing those reviews. Keep them coming. Makes us smile, sir. I tell you what, if Rashford had buried that chance at the end, or Fred got his feet underneath him, I tell you what, if he had had a better day.
Who?
Talking about players missing.
Isn't that the midfielder you want to re-sign?
Talking about a player that you're missing.
Isn't that the player you want to re-sign?
Who else we got, bro? Who else we got? Donnie Van de Beek? Yeah, he's got a real future.
You should have heard this kid. We were watching the match.
Good and cheap, bro. Good and cheap.
We were watching the match. I was
actually trying to make a credible point other than just like slating each other on there. Like, I'm talking about, like, hold on a second.
Nothing better than the slate.
Like, Eriksen missing, like, who didn't play well today was Fred, and if he had played well, we would have scored a goal. That's the difference.
Yes.
We would have. Like,
yes.
his in the final third,
yes.
He couldn't get his feet underneath him. He made some bad calls. But
he's driving me nuts. He's got it. Hey, tell me where he's from. He's from Brazil. He's got the cut. He's got the haircut. He's got that cool haircut. He's got the $55 million haircut. He's got the whole package. He's got those nice boots, the neon yellow. He's got the full package, and whenever we need him and we're in a spot, hey, Fred, you haven't played in a while, like, step up, like, let's go.
He did not.
Oh, it was hard to watch, sir. Let's just get into this one. Manchester United 0, Newcastle 0, baby. 6 a.m. 0-0s. Just what the doctor ordered. Let's get in that 11. Let's get into that 11. Dave says world number 1 in net. Luke Shaw is coming into form. Martinez, Varane, center back, pairing Delo at right back. Casemiro, CDM, Fred, Bruno Fernandes playing in the midfield. Sancho on the left, Ronaldo up top at 9, Antony on the right. It's worth calling out the bench. We had Malacia, Palestre, Iqbal, Elanga, Garnacho, and Rashford. I want to see Garnacho. I want to see some of these kids that ain't getting time from Erik ten Hag. So it's worth a mention to look at that bench.
No, I mean, the games they should be playing was the game on Thursday, and it's unfortunate that we lost to Real Sociedad and then we were chasing the game and we didn't take our chances in the first half, which would have allowed the manager to rotate. That means that he did rotate today a little bit, right? Because Rashford is in better form than Sancho. And
well,
Rashford's
Rashford was
on the
sick.
bench.
Rashford was sick.
Was Rashford sick? Well,
yes.
Not sick enough to miss out on the game, obviously.
No, but not sick, kind of not feeling too good,
Not
when
feeling
you're kind of getting sick.
So that's apparently what happened to Eriksen as well. His presence was certainly missed. I think you mentioned that. That is definitely true because Fred, he offers a job defensively, but going forward, he was not great. And you know what? A chance for Ronaldo to impress, a chance for Sancho to impress. But at the end of the day, in the first half, a lot of the action that was notable was coming from Newcastle.
Jumping in, United come out being pressed up high by Newcastle. I thought we had a little bit of difficulty, but we actually played better than I've ever seen us. Usually we fold way. I mean, obviously you put Harry Maguire in there, it's going to be a different picture, but everyone wants to slate De Gea for not being able to do it. I thought we did a decent job. We're a team that's learning how to do it. I wouldn't say Newcastle create a lot of chances from it right away.
No, and a lot of the chances that they did have in the first half were self-inflicted wounds from United, which we've seen a little bit, like getting caught out, giving the balls away. And then, they had that double banger. So they came out 10th minute. There's that penalty shout. Varane, it was Callum Wilson, I believe, kind of got caught. And, 50-50. I call it a 50-50. I think a neutral, you could say maybe it's a penalty. I think this is the right call because he went down so easily. But what did you make of this?
I mean, I'm a Muppet. It's not a penalty, obviously. It's like, come on. You can't call that. 24th minute, Newcastle hit the post twice. I mean, of course, this is kind of the nervy stuff. And this is really all they did. This was it. The Trippier free kick, should have signed him.
Yeah,
again,
$12 million.
He'd be a starting right back.
He'd be starting over below
I don't know.
now.
I don't know how we didn't sign him. Again, you look at the front office scratching your head. Definitely need another right back. Trippier, great player, and you see it here hitting the post twice. But they didn't do much after that. Going into the second half, they did try to come at us first half, and I think they kind of shelled up in the second. United were much better in the second half. United Ronaldo scores in the 49th minute, but he was miles off sides. As is tradition, Alex, you were complaining about Ronaldo always being off sides. And I explained to you he scored 700 goals for clubs.
Thank you for explaining
he's
to
not
me.
always offside.
Thank you for explaining to me who Cristiano Ronaldo. 37-year-old Ronaldo is off a lot.
How dare you?
He is.
How dare you?
I'm
He's
rooting for Ronaldo.
700 goals. I'm not going to question.
Legend. He's a
who
legend.
am I to question him on how to score?
But this chance especially, he was like 6 yards offsides.
He's getting older. 52nd minute, great transfer Ronaldo, but he can't get the shot off in time. This one was also like a 50-50 coming together, penalty shout. Obviously, Ronaldo moaning, Bruno moaning. Those two just do a lot of moaning. Didn't get it. 58th minute, Sancho goes down in the box, no penalty. This one, social media is all over. I'm going to say it's an eye for an eye, honestly. He's like going
for the Wilson one, for the one in the first half.
Look, the ref. Here's the thing that people don't understand about VAR that we clearly understand in the United States is that if the referee on the field calls no penalty, which is what he did here, then the video evidence has to be so clear and obvious to overturn. So the call on the field has a lot of sway in what VAR decides to do. So it's not just like, is it a penalty, yes or no? Is it a clear and obvious error? And in this position, I do not believe, even though I'm a Muppet, if you watch it in slow motion, you're like, yes, that's a penalty. But as called on the field and then to then give the penalty, I think there is a higher burden of proof than this one. Because if you then you look at the Callum Wilson one and you're like, is that a penalty? And it is.
Yeah,
so
if this one is, then that one is.
And then I don't want to get into the whole let VAR call
penalty.
penalties all the time. I just want to get into the let's win it with the Fred chance, which was, probably the one to win it, or the Rashford header. I mean, those are, if I'm looking at this, I'm not going to whinge about VAR. I'm going to look at, why do we take off Ronaldo? Why didn't we put Rashford on the left? Ronaldo probably buries that, and then Fred was atrocious this game. So, I actually think we should have won if we took our chances here. This is where the game was open. This is where Newcastle was fearing for it. They were backed up into their own net, and we had tons of chances. Should have done better.
And this is, I think you said it right. It's just it's not like this was one of the most egregious calls we've seen even this season, where it's like This pen, people are making a lot of it on Twitter, but I think it's because this game was a little bit devoid of really good chances. We should have created more opportunities. The two best opportunities we arguably created were the very end of the game, and we obviously did not take them. You can talk about calls, but either way, we didn't play good enough. We didn't play well enough. We didn't create enough. We weren't, quick enough. And that's what's frustrating. We didn't lose because they didn't get the penalty call, or we didn't draw because they didn't get the penalty call right. Like that's a soft one. And you're not going to get those every day.
It's soft to think that that's the difference maker. I mean, if you get lucky and get it, I don't mind getting lucky. I'm not going to complain if they give it, but I'm not going to say that's out of line. 72nd minute sub, Rashford for Ronaldo. This one from Erik ten Hag. Sancho not doing a lot on the left. I mean, like, he's getting the ball, it's kind of probing, but there's nothing coming off. Rashford is so good on the left this season, and then Ronaldo late in games is looking for those crosses in the box. And on top of that, you're like pissing Ronaldo off to like a level. So why is Erik ten Hag fighting the fight? I really thought when he did the sub, I said, why? Why are you leaving Sancho out there and playing? I thought maybe Anthony would go to striker and Rashford go to the left. Rashford went to 9. I don't understand it. He hasn't looked good at 9. And you saw it here. This is one of those things where it's a big call. This is a big call from Erik ten Hag, a weird one. I don't get it.
That's what he gets paid the big bucks for. To be fair to Ronaldo, I think it's more of a factor of like you don't want to play Rashford up the middle when you can play him on the left because he's so good on the left, especially this season. Ronaldo was not playing well in this game. Let's not get our facts incorrect. Best chances we had in this game, yeah, but he was off. He was 6 months.
No, but
he scored, but he was
so
offside.
Fine. I'm also going to say fine. You take. I actually think the players to take off would probably be like you put Alonga on, you put Garnacho at 9, you put Rashford on the left, you switch up the attack, you kind of throw everything at it. It was a weird one just to take Ronaldo off because
and then stop there with the
he
subs.
would have headed that ball in. He would have been in that position. He would have headed it in.
But he could have been off. He could have been off.
Yeah, he could have been off. But at the same time, like I just don't think the manager set us up to win this one late because taking Ronaldo off there. 88th minute, Rashford finds Fred, blasts it wide. That's a rough one. Fred should have won it. You can watch this back. Rashford does amazing, gets him behind.
He
like we were missing that all game. Puts it to Fred. He decides to open up the left foot. Like, what are you doing? He shot every time he gets the ball. He tries to shoot. Can't hit the broadside of the barn.
5 yards out. You just square the ball.
Yeah, this one was brutal, and then basically the Rashford header.
That was worse
in the 90th.
because that was a great
this
chance.
Is just Ronaldo buried. Ronaldo would be in that position if he was left on the field, and he would bury this one. It's clear as day. And so as a fan, it's like a little frustrating to say, like, why are you taking him out? Why are you taking him out? I would think the late winner, we saw him beat Newcastle last season, the late winner, scores headers.
That's a different Ronaldo. And he didn't play well in this game. I mean, he has to be said, like,
we don't have anyone else. We don't have anyone else.
That's also true.
We don't have anyone else.
That is also true. And Rashford should be playing on the left because he looks so good on the left.
Exactly.
And just doesn't look the same player up front. And Sancho doesn't look good on the left.
So it's a little
hasn't
frustrating.
looked good since the beginning of the season. But it's like we ain't got no options. Like the whole we're gonna start Martial and he's gonna be our starter and he's played like 2 games.
No, but these are big calls. It's a big call because
Maybe
you're going to
him.
play. You're playing
he's gotta
Tottenham
play him
and
on
Chelsea.
Wednesday, dude. He's got to play Ronaldo probably up front on Wednesday because who else are you gonna play?
Look, there's something going on. Like all managers have it. All managers come into a team. Ole couldn't manage it. Got out of hand. Magoo, Ronaldo, something's going on. Then Rangnick came in. He couldn't deal with it either. Like Pogba and Bruno and Ronaldo telling them how to play, how they should play, Ten Hag's doing something with Ronaldo. There's something going on with Ten Hag and Ronaldo. And Ronaldo, I'll tell you what, Ten Hag likes to take him out and put him under his thumb.
There's always something going on with Ronaldo.
Yeah,
always.
But you got to learn how to manage
if you want it.
Exactly.
How do you manage the planet?
Here's the thing. If I'm Ten Hag, I look at this team and I'd be like, look, I don't want Ronaldo. That's a fair argument. You don't want Ronaldo on the team.
Yeah.
You don't have anyone else.
No.
The board, the director of football, whatever, they didn't sign anyone else. So you got to get the best out of him. So in some ways, you got to deal with it.
Well,
and I think when you have the
nonstop?
ego the size of a planet, you don't sub in the 72nd minute just to piss off the only guy who can play number 9 for you, other than Garnacho, who's not ready.
Yeah, but he's not a number 9 either. He's a winger.
There is a little bit of that. Something's going on with him and Ten Hag. And I agree. It's not like Ronaldo's in the right. I'm just saying the manager sometimes has to try to massage the ego of the big players because he has no other option.
Even if we'd won this game, Ronaldo would be so pissed, bro. He just is pissed because he wants to play. He wants to score goals. He's a goal scorer. He's
Him
an
watching that
elite
chance.
athlete that is 37 years old and still competing at the highest level. Like, he wants to always play. If you pull him out for a minute, he will
It's
get
a
mad
certainty
at you.
he would
He
score
is
that
always
header.
mad. He got pulled off earlier in the season.
Sir, it's not because
I'm not
it's
sure it's a
because we
certainty.
missed that. We missed that. He missed.
But you can never make any guarantee that chance would have existed in the same way with him on the field. It's just like
He would have been there.
I know. Well, everyone's gonna
It would
talk
have been
about
a dunk header win.
Yeah, dunk header.
That's what I'm.
5 feet offsides.
I'm not worried about the penalty. I'm worried about the. I think
You
Ronaldo
should put
dunks
context.
that.
I've been hanging out with this kid all day, and all we talked about is this chance, Ronaldo, whether or not he should have been pulled off.
I wish I didn't care this much,
Sorry,
sir.
I wish we scored.
We need these
I mean,
points.
We don't
If
even
you
have a
don't
goal.
think
We
that
don't even have a goal to talk about,
sir. We don't think we need these points.
You want
These are points.
You
These
want
are
the
top
French chance?
four.
You want to play the French chance?
These are top 4 points. Yeah, we got the audio on the
Yeah,
French.
you got
Chance.
French.
Yeah, let's watch
Yeah,
this one
right.
again. Here we go.
To make that interception with Chris Wood running off the shoulder of Martinez.
Rashford on the move here.
Great ball.
Marcus Rashford away from Pope. It's Rashford. Fred arriving on the scene.
So,
Share went to ground.
it's so much worse
to
with
make
the
sure
replay. It's such a
that he
good
felt
ball
the
from
pressure
Bruno,
there.
and
Well
Rashford
done
does
to
so
Marcus.
well.
Well,
Rashford does so well.
well done to Marcus. He's had a huge.
It's
comeback.
almost impressive he missed that. It's almost like, how did you miss that? Like the whole net.
But that's why there's a little frustration about where we're at in this game and the spot where this game is, and then we're gonna get. Hey, I think Eriksen can do it against his former side. Stats: 15 shots for Manchester United, 9 to Newcastle, 2 on target for both teams. We had 63% of the ball. Not enough creation.
Nope.
And Eriksen's not on the pitch. We missed him.
We did.
You put Fred in there.
Ugh, big drop down.
Seen this movie before, right? That's exactly where we're at. Manchester United have only lost one of their last 13 Premier League home games, 1-7, drawn 5, a 1-2 defeat to Brighton. Exactly. That's the last time. Newcastle have won just one of their 28 Premier League games at Old Trafford. They've drawn 9, lost 18 with their 3.6% win ratio. They're joint lowest at any ground. Newcastle haven't been great, but they did fight well for the draw.
Speaking of draw.
And this was Manchester United's 76th Premier League goalless draw.
Think about us.
31 of which have come since Sir Alex Ferguson's retirement.
Yeah, there's been a lot of them.
That's unbelievable.
The most of any
That's
side.
unbelievable. 41%, the most of any side in the competition.
We've
since
seen a
the
lot
start.
of nil-nils, and we've potted a number of nil-nils.
That's because, they don't make them like Sir Alex.
Yeah, no
they
more.
don't make them. I'm going to cover my ears, close my eyes. You want to go through the Premier League table here?
So there's a big game today. City lost to the Scouse Bastards at Anfield. So Arsenal are top of the table with a 4-point gap. Enjoy it while it lasts. City behind them with 23 points. Then you got Spurs tied with them, 23 points. We'll see them at Old Trafford soon. 19 points. Chelsea in 4th place. Then us at 5th with 16 points. Newcastle behind us at 15. Then Brighton, Scousers, Brentford, Bournemouth. Sir, big week. Big week. We got 3rd place and 4th place.
I'll tell you, that type of game, that 0-0,
We needed that.
that's
We
the difference
needed 3
between top
points.
4 and
I know.
Hans and Franz. Let's
we're
go.
gonna get
Eric
Hans
Ten
and
Hag.
Franz.
Here we
Ball
go.
into the net, free kick. And he's adamant that wasn't, it hadn't been taken when Ronaldo took the ball away from him. What was your view of that incident?
I don't have comment. Everyone have seen it.
You spoke to the referee after the game. Was that what you spoke to him about? Your players were all very unhappy.
As I said, everyone have seen what happened today on the pitch, so I don't have a comment.
Jamie.
It was kind of the most animated, as in cheesed off, annoyed I've seen you with the officials and the sideline. Was that because you were unhappy with several decisions?
As I said, I share that with them.
Were you surprised, though, that you did one of these decisions?
You can try. So everyone have seen the game. Everyone see. So no, but it's your job to judge the performance from the teams and from the refs, not me. So I will not do it.
So in light of that, do you think you should have won? You deserve to win because of how your team played?
Let's talk about that. So the performance from Man United, I think I'm disappointed with the result, but I'm happy with the performance. So a lot of elements of the team, of the way of play, we transferred on the pitch. and we have seen that. And the pressing over the whole game was good. Second half, the possession was better. We make an improvement after halftime, and then you saw we dominate that game second half by far. And also in the end, the physical, again the mentality, how we kept going, and you saw the problems they had, and that is one of the best physical teams in the league, and they had all cramp, and we didn't, because we let them run, because we were good on the ball, and our pressing was good, and in the end, we break them, but didn't kill them by not scoring, and we had the chances with Rashford. And the assist on Fred and the header, great cross from Casemiro, I thought. And so, okay, that happens, football. So happy with the performance, but disappointed with the result.
Happy with the performance, disappointed with the result. I would say, aren't we all, sir?
I could be happy if we had two halves, like the second half. I thought we probably would have gotten that goal if we were a little sharper. Dude, we're all disappointed. We all wanted 3 points because we know how tough the next two games are going to be. We know how tough this game was. This is definitely a different Newcastle side. Eddie Howe has gotten them playing, flying high, sir. They got that deep Saudi pocketbook. And it was a frustrating match because 3 points were there to be had. Not even so like these bullshit no call. It's more so like we should have created more chances. We should have done better. We should have scored a goal at the end.
It wasn't like Brentford or Brighton.
No.
And this is a good team. So at the end of the day, it is a improvement in some regards, but also, we hold ourselves to that standard where we're fearing the Hans and Franz theme for another 5 years to come. So, there's a urgency behind trying to get this team winning and winning these Newcastle at home. Those are the games that you can lose to a Tottenham. You can draw a Chelsea. You get a point away at the Bridge. That's a win. But the Newcastle at home, it's got to be 3. It's got to be 3. That is, you got to sort of the bread and the butter.
That's it.
It's at home.
Toasty
against
bread.
Those teams, like the Brightons, the Brentfords, at home. You got to be getting 3. But look, there's always a next match. We can turn it around, and there's tons of games in October. World Cup coming hot and fast. Manchester United versus Tottenham Hotspur. I can't believe it when I say World Cup in the same vein as playing some of these matches. Old Trafford, we're at home. It's Wednesday, October 19th. We're playing on Wednesdays again, Wednesday nights, but that great music ain't playing. 12:15 Pacific, 3:15 Eastern. Games won versus Tottenham, 95. Drawn 49. Games lost, 53. First time we played them, 1899. Tottenham Hotspur versus Newton Heath, 1-1 in the FA Cup. Last 5, we've won 3, lost 1. Huge game and drawn 1-1. So 3-1-1. Last 3, we have beat them. So we are on a good streak against Tottenham. Aside from that Martial red card against Lamela, it wouldn't have been so bad, but that is where we're at. And Antonio Conte, he's coming for the jugular.
Got those hair plugs. He had that famous handshake off with
handshake
Tuchel.
of death. He's got the handshake of death.
Yeah. I don't know if he handed out a handshake of death on Wednesday. I certainly hope not. But it's gonna be a big match for United. Spurs. They're still Spurs, but they've got a solid squad. They're well coached. They're playing in good form. They're getting a little bit more of less of a. They're a soft team, soft club, soft fans, but they're trying to build a harder exterior, that hard candy shell instead of a soft candy shell.
What the turnaround is?
It's the manager.
The manager that we said no to. The manager that was begging.
The manager John wanted.
I'm saying the manager that would have taken no crap from nobody.
He would have quit. He would have already quit because the front office is so bad.
He's a badass mother who ain't going to take no crap from nobody.
Including Richard Arnold. He would have quit. He'd be like, I'm out.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Blazers are bad news.
I'm not saying it, but you have Tottenham. They don't have a backbone. They got managers sacked, manager after manager. He comes in and ships out Dele Alli, and ships out some bad blood, and they're playing good. The last 5 for Tottenham. They did bottle the North London derby. Arsenal beat them 3-1. They drew Frankfurt in the Champions League, beat Brighton 1-0, beat Frankfurt in the Champions League, and they beat Everton. I think all you need to know about Conte is he got him in the Champions League, and Arsenal bottled that. I mean, that for him to get that was a huge to get in the Champions League for Tottenham. That was absolutely huge. You remember the end of last season? That was Arsenal's locked on, and they went on a run.
I remember.
I mean, that's $100 million man right there. And we're looking for somebody to get us in the Champions League.
And they had a good summer. You know, they had the kind of like pragmatic value buy kind of summer that, you know, we got some good players that came in last summer, but like the Perisic, the value there, the Richarlison, the Yves. Dude, that's like, I think if we had taken the same approach to our $200 million kitty that we spent last year, we could have gotten 2-3 more players, a striker, a right back, and probably another midfielder, all of which we need right now. But they've got a serious front office, something that we're lacking, and but I believe in our manager. And I believe that we're going to
rise.
A good job.
You have to say he's
done it. Of course
he
has. I'm not saying he hasn't.
You have to say
he's done a good job.
that
in
some ways you have to look at the situation and say that if last season Ole goes and we wanted someone to get us in top 4 last year, he'd probably be the short-term fixed guy, and Ten Hag is going to be the long-term fixed guy if the board gives him the long-term. Like, Ten Hag shouldn't be touched for probably 4 years. I would give Ten Hag 4 years because they're not going to spend a lot of money next year. It's going to take a long time. We have to start giving managers time. But Conte was the quick fix guy. Get you in, and he'll probably get fired at the end of the year. That's who he is.
Or
that's
quit.
The type of
Just
style.
like walk out. Yeah.
You know, like Tuchel 18 months, Conte 18. These types of guys. But Ten Hag, if you don't back Ten Hag over the long term, there's no point in having him here. And that's what I worry about at the end of the day. A little history on Tottenham. They got that new stadium. Looks pretty nice.
It does look nice.
They play NFL games there. They got a lot of cool stuff going on. It ain't leaking. Founded in 1882. Tottenham's emblem is the cockerel standing upon a football with the Latin motto "Adere est facere." To dare is to do is the motto.
We went to a game. We saw them play Leicester when the stadium was getting redone at the Wembley, and I'll tell you what, that's the softest crowd you'll ever see. Spurs fans.
I saw them at White Hart Lane, the old White Hart Lane against Liverpool. They got smoked as well.
How tough were the fans?
Not very. The club has traditionally worn white shirts and navy blue shorts since 1898, and their training ground is on Hotspur Way in Bulls Cross, London. And in domestic football, Spurs have won 2 league titles, 8 FA Cups, 4 League Cups, 7 Community Shields. And in European football, they've won 1 European Cup Winners' Cup and 2 UEFA Cups. So they never won the Champions League, although they did lose the final to the Scouse Bastards. And you know what they say? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I was rooting for them that night.
Who wasn't?
They play the 3-4-2-1. You got Lloris in net. Dyer playing center back. They play the back 3. Højbjerg is a workhorse. They got Perisic, another good signing that we've been linked to, who we did not get, and still haven't gotten that right back. Son, Kane, Richarlison, you know them all.
Richarlison went down injured, but Kane and Son are in top form.
Son is on.
They got a high work rate
now.
midfield. The midfield, this is gonna be one of those midfield games where it's gonna be all about the battle in the middle.
Injuries for United. Magoo is out. He was checking the Instagram on the bench today. You saw him on his phone.
That's bad.
McTominay, he's back after the suspension. Dubravka, he can't play Tottenham because the contract says so. Martial, too early to say. It's something about they basically have to wait. Late fitness test for Martial. We hope he's back. Donny van de Beek had a muscle injury. B-Dubs, undisclosed, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And sorry, Dubravka is available. That was for Newcastle, not for Tottenham.
Hey,
obviously.
sir, what's going on with Donny van de Beek?
I don't know. I have no... sir, $40 million down the drain.
Tell you what, down the drain, around and around.
No one likes... I don't like to see every single player we sign just come up horde. Like, it makes no sense to me how, like, what was it? Man City wanted to sign Fred. We signed him. He's horrible. Man City wanted to sign Maguire. We signed him. He's horrible. Like every time we're jumping people, we get the wrong ones. It's been too much of that. Sancho didn't want City.
They wanted to sign Holland. We should have signed that one.
Sancho didn't want City. And you know what? The Holland to City, if you remember, the summer we ended up getting Cristiano Ronaldo, Kane wanted to go to City. City didn't sign him, and I said they're going to get Haaland now.
Oh, of course.
Them signing Kane was the one I wanted to go through.
Still would have gotten Haaland.
Because if they sign Kane, Tottenham gets worse.
Yeah.
And then they don't get Haaland. And now, it's written in the stars.
Haaland's only a stay for 2 to 3
stars.
years, and he'll go to Spain. It's like...
Yeah, we can only hope that in 4 years.
4 short years of just
in 4
years, just getting bashed in week, out, and they just run the train.
We can only hope that in 4 years...
Yeah, they lost today.
Yeah, and you have to extrapolate how our... the balance sheet of Manchester United is getting run into the ground. Given those are the injuries, who is your lineup?
Fred's getting renewed.
Checking the Insta.
I can't believe
you were arguing for Fred getting re-upped.
The 11th. Yeah, because we got no one else, bro.
You were arguing for the extension for Fred. By the way, I'm going to give you that one.
We got nobody else.
Everyone, mark my words. Is that 3 pods ago? He was like, "We got to re-sign Fred."
Yeah, we do. Because they're not going to sign anybody else. We got Donny Van de Beek. He can't play.
Put me in, coach. Put me in.
So we got De Gea in net. Delo, Martinez, Varane, Malacia, Shaw. Back to the meat pies. Casemiro, Bruno, Eriksson. I hope that midfield's ready. And then I'm going to do Sancho, Rashford, and Antony. But I want Rashford on the left. So I don't know.
Are you putting him in the striker?
I don't even want Sancho. Ronaldo.
Dave says, I'm going to go the same back line. Delo, Martinez, Varane, Malacia, De Gea, obviously, Casemiro, Bruno, Eriksson, and then you have to do Rashford, Ronaldo, Antony. It's not because Rashford isn't a better player right now than Ronaldo. It's that he's so good on the left.
He is so good.
And Ronaldo isn't that bad of a player, even though everyone wants to bash him. Booking the bookies. Give me the odds here, sir.
United, the favorite, plus 130. The draw, plus 250. And Spurs on the road, plus 200. That's what the bookies got.
What is your score prediction?
1-1 draw. Pussyfooting with a draw. What do you got?
1-1.
You got it. Ugh. Come on, what's your boy Conte do? That magic hair.
2-1 Tottenham. I gotta call it like I said. 2-1. I said 1-1 Newcastle. 2-1 Tottenham. I hope we come out with the piss and vinegar that we had against Arsenal, but unfortunately, these starting the same team on 2 days rest this many times without rotating is going to catch up to you. I have no idea how we're not rotating into Chelsea and Tottenham. We're just gonna not. We didn't have the legs today against Newcastle. You could see it. We're tired.
Big test.
It's a huge test. It's a huge test. Let's get into the news. United in the news. All right, we got to address some news here that's not easy to talk about. Everyone heard Mason Greenwood charged with attempted rape, controlling behavior, and assault. Look, I think about a year ago, we've been waiting for this to drop. He's been charged by the Crown, the chief Crown prosecutor, sir. And he's due in Salford Magistrates Court on Monday. We're going to hear more about this one. But for me, this is it's over. It's been over. I mean, you saw the videos on social media when this came out. It's absolutely appalling. And they threw the book at him, as they should. And innocent until proven guilty. But we've seen the videos. And apparently there's more evidence that the police have been going through. It's been over a year. And, Mason is nowhere to be seen. And obviously innocent until proven guilty, but for me, the videos are probably enough. I think he'll, I would imagine they got the goods on him, and his career's done, and should be done at Manchester United, and it's time to move on from this one. I moved on about a year ago. People have been chirping on Twitter, he's coming back. I'm like, I don't want him back. It's just atrocious when you're talking about. Look at just read the charges. It's it's over.
He's 21 too. It's such a shame because, like you said, his career at Manchester United should certainly be over. I think all United fans are basically agreed upon that. Like what he did, like you said, innocent until proven guilty. But at the end of the day, we still live in a world where social media and how just the rest of the public kind of view you is a big part of it. And that video is damning. His career is over. It should be over, and United should just kind of close the book.
Yeah, it's just
with him and move him out the door, right? And not be like, oh, will he come back? Won't he? I understand there's a big contract, and I can only imagine all the moving parts around the legality of whether or not they have to pay him and his sponsorships and all that. But that being said, it's it would be best for everybody if the Mason Greenwood era ended at United. There was not like he's still around, he's still listed on the injury report. It's like, no, you got to just move him out of the club. He's got to figure his life out. You know, I like to think that maybe he can have a positive outcome someday, but it's not going to be as a Manchester United football player. And at 21, he's got a lot of life left. He had a rough go of it, given that the horrible decisions he's made, and what he did is like inexcusable. But dude, his career and his time at United's got to go. And it's like, I think having him around, even though he's not involved, is just bad because
yeah,
it's
and
like beyond the pale what he did is so toxic. It's
no,
awful.
of course, and like obviously we just saw the video on social media, but it wasn't like that was pretty. It was shared for a certain reason, and he was arrested for a certain reason. So it's not like innocent until proven guilty, but there is stuff that has come out. And as far as United and this situation, it's like it should just be done. Right. It's like, hey, if he goes to trial and that could take a year and he wins and he's innocent, like then he should be able to do whatever he wants.
But not be a
United
football player. Yeah.
So it's like United just have to move on.
That's
like
what
he's
I'm saying.
still on the roster. It's all this stuff. Like fans are tweeting about it. It's like United just need to like cut ties and be done. This is a situation that we don't even want to report on in the pod because I've just moved on from it. It's done. He's got to deal with this thing, and this should have nothing to do with Manchester United. And Manchester United should also understand that their brand should have nothing to do with this. And there's also other stuff going on in the Premier League with other players, other clubs. Well, like we saw with Buscema when he was at Brighton, same situation. Obviously,
Partey.
not as explosive of evidence shared on social media. Partey at Arsenal rumored.
Well, that's the difference.
He's still
There's no
playing.
Video. There's no video.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is like he's still playing. So at the end of the day, this is going on in the league, and it's at an alarming rate, unfortunately. So it's this whole like. It's really tough to watch, and United just need to move on from this. And speaking of moving on, we're going to move on to Fabrizio Romano. David De Gea, he announces he's ready to sign a new deal. The quote from De Gea, quote, "I'd like to stay more years and make records of everything to win trophies. This is my club and where I feel good. I have many more years to play. I feel confident. I feel confident in you too, David De Gea." 500th cap today for Manchester United. What a player. Underappreciated player. I mean, he has not been a problem for United. He got a lot of flack. He's always gotten a lot of flack. He's actually been playing well. I think he's saved us a lot of times. I think we've been in the Champions League sometimes because of him only. We have exited because of him as well. But he has been a good player, and goalies are not easy to replace. We don't have a replacement, so you got to sign him. For me, pay him the money, whatever. It's the Glazers' money, but 2 years with an option. You can't be signing him up to another 5-year deal. 2 years, get the replacement in next summer. If we're going to buy anyone, who knows how the front office is going to go. But I think De Gea should be extended in some capacity.
I certainly agree with you that he was a huge player in the post-Fergie years when we were just like in the doldrums. You know, he kept us in top 4, like you mentioned. Those seasons where we finished second, can you believe we finished second twice? He was a huge part of that as well. Like, there were so many
first or last.
There's so many matches. Sorry, yeah.
He ain't first or last.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, Ricky Bobby. He was a massive player, but as soon as he got that giant contract, which, you know, up to that point, you can certainly say he justified. He hasn't been the same player. Obviously, that Barca exit, there were a lot of big errors, but this season he's playing well. He had a couple early errors in the season, but he's rebounded well. You just can't give him 375 again. Like, that's madness. Like, he knows that. He knows he doesn't deserve that. So if you got him at like 250 even for another 2 years, 3 years, like with an option, that would be fine. But just like you could not renew him at what he's at now because he's not worth it.
It's free money. It's just the Glazer money. What are you worried about?
Well, there you go.
Next
Still
bit of
getting their
news.
dividend.
Next bit of news here from Fabrizio Romano. Apparently, there's a few players around the world that don't like their clubs and they're not happy. João Felix not happy with Atletico Madrid. Maybe we can do a little deal with Ronaldo, get him in. He plays at number 10. He plays center forward, and he plays on the left. He's a versatile young Portuguese player. By the way, we have a few good Portuguese players on our team. His value has gone down. Probably, I mean, transfer market's got him around, I'm going to say 75 million pounds. We probably don't need another big overpriced diva youngster, but, he could go along well with our other diva youngsters. He is a name. He is out there. We need a number 9. He's probably not it traditionally. I like Callum Wilson, but I have a soft spot.
Ivan Toney.
I am 25% Portuguese, so I gotta go full Muppet on the Portuguese players.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need another. I don't think we need
Delo's
João Felix.
good.
João Felix.
Ronaldo's good.
Bruno's
good.
I mean, he's
more better.
He'd be a good player. You know, I don't think you're going to get him and Ronaldo.
Sancho's underachieving. Magoo's underachieving. Shaw's underachieving. See what I'm saying?
He'd be a lot of money. So you're saying that
See
like
what the English guys are letting us down.
splash out huge amounts of money on João Felix. I think that would follow the same
English
type
guys are
of
letting
us
us down.
overpaying for player after player after player. Because guess what? He wouldn't go cheap. Sorry, he'd go for at least $100 million. And I'd take him, but like I think we should stay away from the just like giant splash cash, $85 million Anthony signing. But that's what United likes because that's what gets in the news and that's what sells kits, and that's important for Ed Woodward. So
Speaking of Muppetry, here from Fabrizio Romano, 37 minutes ago. Here, quote: I have not asked to leave PSG. This is from Mbappe. I am not furious with the club. It's not true.
I'm not furious. That sounds really convincing. I'm not furious with the club. Well, that's good.
Yeah. So Mbappe put to rest all those rumors. He says he's staying put. I think he owns the club. I think the last deal is they literally like gave him the club. So I don't know why. Clearly, there's truth in the rumors. He's not happy at
he's
PSG.
not happy, clearly.
Why
would you give him the club?
It's like the French players are always not. You know, the French players
Hard
are
to please.
the player power is getting a little out of control. Where is it going to go? You know. I mean, you look at the NBA and players just sign 1-year deals and just like they just do whatever. They have all the power. They sign max 1 year, then they go play another team. They have all the leverage. Is that what's going to come to world football? Like Erling Haaland signs a deal, and then he can just leave City whenever he wants, and that because he has all the power, and so the clubs are just beggars. Is that what's going to happen? Because it is transitioning to that where Mbappe signs 2 years, and he has a low release, just like Messi wanted to sign like the super low release clause, so he had all the leverage against Barca while he was under the deal.
Well, that's what they did with Haaland when he even went to Dortmund in the first place, right? They had a very advantageous release clause because they had more power than RB, because than Dortmund, because they wanted a player of his caliber, and to do that, they needed to make sure that, you know, the Haalands can make plenty of money on the back end. Same thing with an Mbappe. He has so much star power that he is more valuable or more famous at least than a PSG side, and they gave him $100 million and like a supposed equity and some level of control around footballing operations. So shame on them. But I just think certain players have that. It's not like everyone gets it, but Haaland is going to be able to do whatever he wants, and he even made sure that City had a release clause that not many clubs can afford, but Real Madrid can afford, and that's going to be the player, the team that likely picks him up in 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, and like when you're seeing this player power stuff, apparently the contract negotiations that Messi went back to Barca with, this is before he left, he wanted a 10,000 euro buyout clause. Because to basically say he can go wherever he wants.
Yeah, exactly. So he can pay it out himself if he wanted to.
Exactly. And so I think we're going to see more of this, and you're starting to see big stars unhappy, and then you're going to see, you saw the funny money deal with Mbappe, and there's going to be more of this in world football, but it's kind of crazy to follow the train, because hopefully Mbappe doesn't go anywhere near the EPL because he ain't coming to Manchester United. No. Next bit of news, Barcelona are eyeing a move for Manchester United right back Diogo Dalot after sending scouts to watch him with the defender in the final year of his contract at Old Trafford. Talk about doing a good job. Not only did we not sign a right back, we have him on his last year of his deal. So we're up against it. So look, Dalot's playing well. You got to re-sign him. I don't know if his heart's at Manchester United. That whole when he went to AC Milan, he celebrated the goal against us.
Like really,
that's
strongly.
like kind of like an FU. Obviously, he's a great player. He's a professional. He does a great job. But that moment, for some reason, is burned in my brain when I think of him. I can't forgive a player who's on loan playing in a European competition against the team who loaned him and is like literally rubbing it in the team who loaned him's face. It's a very weird vibe. So I hope he stays, because you look at the roster, who else we got?
No, it's a good. We spent decent money on him at a young age, and he's finally starting to hit promise. And there was the loan, but we also loaned him, so you can't blame him for playing hard for the team that he was loaned to. But he always feels like the kind of player that I don't think he's going to be satisfied in England. Like You
Sir, you don't celebrate against former
I don't
clubs,
think
you know?
I think he would enjoy playing like a Spain or an Italy. Probably not a France, but like, yeah, I don't see him being the starting right back in 5 years for Manchester United. Should we renew him? Yes, we should. And we should try to keep him around. But like, he does seem like the kind of player that would enjoy, playing in the Iberian Peninsula, for example.
I think a Portuguese player would love the Iberian Peninsula. Next bit of news here. Fan questions, not news. We are done with the news.
Tough day. We got 0-0 draw, sir. We're not, we can't be as sharp when the boys weren't sharp.
At Rolling in the Deep, 1995, should have been clinical. Somehow, so many chances just fell to Fred, who couldn't produce, but Rashby at the end of the day should have won it. A draw where we played well, but couldn't find the end product. On to the next one.
That's positive. That's nice.
What a practical
I like
way to
see
look at
that.
the game.
You
Look
should
at
have this guy on the pod.
Yeah, what a practical way to think.
What a reasonable
What a
response.
reasonable response to say you and me. I think
You goddamn Ronaldo would have scored the winner.
I think it's just like we have been watching too much of this team. It's going to drive you nuts.
Too many 0-0 draws. It'll get you.
Sir, when we lost the Champions League final against Barcelona, I thought that was too much. Like what did I know?
Which one?
Then 2009. 2009.
Yeah, I know.
It would have been the
I was in
back-to-back.
Rome, bro.
It would have been the back-to-back. Losing that one was
11 was
2010. I knew we were
11.
Or 11. Yeah, you're right.
We were like blown out. That game. It wasn't a blowout in the box score, but it felt like a blowout.
Bring Wayne Rooney back. That's all I gotta say.
Tell you
Bring
what, that
Wayne
squad.
Rooney back.
The fact that Fergie got that squad to the Champions League final means that like he is.
How is
such a great
Darren
manager.
Fletcher on the touchline? We need Wayne Rooney drinking some dark ales and yelling at
tell
these
you
players.
what.
Let's go. At Bry Guy 666, the whole match was weird. Too many touches with no creativity going forward. Missed on perfect passes / chances. Fred, Delo, Rashford. No contest. Botched free kick. Refs missing that clear pen. Felt like an Ole at the wheel match. It's a point. I'll take it, but it should be all three. And again, are we being
They're better than these fans. Are just kind of the good takes. They got like,
it was the Ole.
It did.
A lot of people are saying it felt like Ole today. It just felt like
not
Ole
good. That's
today.
not good.
Ty Kircher, quote, positives, I've seen the forward-thinking attack playing well. Negatives, finishing died. Fred and Rashford both with perceived layups that both go wide. 2 points dropped on to the next one. And then obviously had to watch the Green Bay Packers get smoked by the New York Jets. Sorry, Ty, had to do it.
by the Jets. There you go.
It could be worse. You could get, if your football teams get beat by the Jets.
We could have lost. I mean, we also could have lost.
I mean, a draw is like, think about that. You and me just watched the draw. He had to watch the Jets
and they lost.
at home. The Jets.
You gotta watch that. That's a lot.
I mean, we grew up in New Jersey. There's a lot of Jets fans. Jets are supposed to be bad. They're supposed to be very bad. That's like
It's like the San Diego Padres, sir.
exactly. Oh my God! Don't get me started. And then, by the way, the Yankees. Oh boy. By the way,
focus on task at hand.
Give me a North Jersey.
I don't have another hour. For
Give me the North
you to
Jersey
complain about the
sports.
Yankees.
I'll tell you, this time of year, it's nothing better this time of year. You got Manchester United, you got football, and you got playoff baseball. It's just sports 24/7 in my household, sir.
Wife's thrilled.
Wife's a Padres fan, unfortunately. Jamal Mota. Quote, sirs, in the last 7 minutes, almost felt like United of old,
true.
who could steal a win at the death, but sadly not. Gotta be happy about another clean sheet. But man, do these boys need to attend finishing school. And last one here, at golfpro_x2. Quote, maybe we didn't deserve to win based on our play in the open field, but this is a stonewall penalty. Also, by rule, Newcastle had played the free kick, and Ronaldo's goal should have stood. Can't rely on the refs, but then getting decisions wrong impacts results regardless. We did not touch on that.
That weird one, right? Where he like just took the ball off the keeper. And
I'm gonna be so like the one that when they showed the wide angle, the ref had his hand up. And I don't know the exact rule, but I do think obviously the ball was played from the defender to the keeper. Then Ronaldo, everyone stood still. Then Ronaldo played it. And so technically I think it was taken, but for some reason the ref raising his arm believed that it wasn't being taken yet. And I think it's because he has to blow his whistle. I'd have to watch it again. I don't know the specific rules around free kicks. I've never seen that situation ever in the Premier League.
hey, I know one thing. I don't want to opine on that because actually I don't know. Whenever something happens like that, you're like, well, that can't be right. They could have just let him take the ball and score.
No, because the ball was placed down, then the defender kicked it
To the
and
keeper.
then the goalie kind of walked up to it,
Yeah.
and then I think the free kick was technically taken when the defender kicked it.
Yeah.
you know.
But you know what I really care about is that we didn't pay $50 million for Matty Longstaff, because remember we were going after him with Ole. Like,
Facts.
That would have been. I'll tell you what, Fred's one thing for 50.
I just don't like to blame the
I agree,
when
'cause
you're
we've
United
seen
and
much more
you blame the
egregious
ref
ref
against,
calls.
like, you draw a Tottenham and you go toe to toe and you're the better team and the ref has a bad call, like, fine, but like this was like Newcastle.
We should have beat him.
Should have beat him anyway, and then you have a bad ref. But like refereeing in the English Premier League since Clattenburg has been atrocious.
It's gotten
just
worse,
been
and it's
very
gotten
bad.
worse every year too.
It makes sense. It's just the referees. Everything's way too soft. It's like England's got to have some backbone. Like the way that the Premier League became the best league in the world, it's physical. They kind of gone the La Liga way where there's time wasting, people dive. It should toughen it up a lot more. Maybe not quite to NFL standards, but like there should be something physical about a Manchester Liverpool match. A derby should be like physically contested. I think that is the best style of football. More power, sir. If you like the American Red Devils, that is it. That is the podcast. We appreciate you. You don't like more power?
More power, more fire, sir. I'll tell you what, more physical.
That's from Jersey.
Yeah, they need. We talk about this all the time. It's like the consistency from match to match and the officiating. I definitely think they should let them play more, but they also should just like some games is a penalty, some games is not, some games is a handball, some games it's so wildly off, just depending on where they're playing and who's reffing that individual match.
It took the NFL 10 years to figure out replay, and I would say now it works. Like the NHL, like never had a problem with it. Like replay in the NHL was always done right because it went to a central location. NFL did the same thing because the problem with the handballs is you need it all going to the same place.
Exactly.
So
So
the
the same
same
person's
people
making
are
the call
watching
every time.
So that's the only way it's consistent
Yeah,
is they
exactly.
realize that
They
when you have
do-
these numpties on site,
Different guy every time.
and then
So
then
stupid.
everyone replays. It looks horrible. So you actually have to have the same guys in a central location, and that's literally the gold standard. It will probably take them 10 years to figure it out in football. It's going to take time, but goal line decision technology that went great. Right, the offsides, the lines that was remember the old lines where they, it was like there was a bend in the line. It was like,
and
but
now they
it's
have this
gonna go-
high tech stuff where they can basically like auto detect it, and that almost looks like it's too precise. Where if you're off like an inch, you're off.
The World Cup it's gonna be crazy VAR at the World Cup. That's gonna be one thing.
It's
that's
be
going
crazy
on.
for a lot of reasons.
But look, we can go all day. If you like the American Red Devils, we're for fans by fans. Check out our website, AmericanRedDevils.com. Check out our store, AmericanRedDevils.store. Also support us on Patreon if you're a big fan. We got tons of benefits over there. You should check it out. Patreon.com/AmericanRedDevils. Sir, give us our top 10 downloads last 7 days.
Number one, how you doing? How you doing? Thompson Station, Tennessee, Livermore, California, Denver, Colorado, Palo Alto, California, Virginia Beach, Virginia, Belfast, Northern Ireland, Mount Holly, New Jersey, Sodenborg, Denmark, Roseville, California, and last but not least, Los Angeles, California. We also got London on the list. Yeonggi-gu, South Korea as well. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. We couldn't do it without you, sirs and lasses. And wow, United dropping points against Newcastle. Big game. Conte and the hair plugs coming to Old Trafford. Son, Harry Kane. No Lamella. No Lamella flop red cards. It's going to be a hot match.
No, it's going to be a great one. Everyone have a great week. We're going to leave you with Manchester United Calypso. Let's go.
Never really got going today so far.
We expected Liverpool to be the best.